National Lore to the outside, goes up. They're all in line. Off and running in the Grade 1 Hollywood Futurity. And it's a good start, with Double Honor heading off to take the lead from the inside, joined by Arosa. Swiss Echo flashing speed 4 wide to the outside. Buttons and Moe's right in the firing line early. Real Quiet along the inside rail. Art Tax is gaining some ground. 2 back to the Cynic, who's got 5 to make up. Can Me gaining 3 wide. Behind that, John Bill 7 lengths off the pace early. Gap of 3 back to Doc Martin, and National Lore settling in at the back of the pack, 10 lengths off the lead. A quick quarter here, 22 and 3. Up the backstretch they go. Double Honor leads it ahead in front. Rosa pressing the pace in second. Swiss Echo right there a close third. Real Quiet along the inside, racing in fourth. Art Tax is racing nicely in fifth. 3 lengths off the pace. Then Can Me. John Bill starts his run on the extreme outside. Behind that comes Buttons and Moe's. Then it's the Cynic, a gap of 3 back to Doc Martin. And yet to do his best running National Lore with a dozen to make up. Half mile in 45 and 4. A quick tempo here into the far turn. Double Honor scoots clear by 2. Now Art Tax in hot pursuit second. Real Quiet up the inside rail. Long shot Can Me. Arosa and Swiss Echo are backpedaling, passed by Buttons and Moe's. John Bill set down for the drive. Doc Martin coming out. Here comes National Lore revving up from the back of the pack. Top of the stretch now. Double Honor set down for the drive. Tackled by Real Quiet to the outside, and Art Tax gearing up down the center of the racetrack. Real Quiet, here comes Art Tax on the outside. Double Honor at the rail. Real Quiet is forged a short lead. Art Tax on the outside. Real Quiet in front. Art Tax not getting to him late. Real Quiet winning the Hollywood Futurity. Real Quiet won a link to Art Tax, and coming late for third was National.
With Indian Charlie, which right now is the odds-on favorite. Odds have been changing as we've been going from the top of the show. And Indian Charlie is the favorite at the moment, ridden by Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens. And a look at that post parade, and a better look at Gary Stevens. Trained by Bob Baffert, is Indian Charlie, owned by Hal Earnhardt and John Gaines.
And his trainer says he's the most talented horse in the race. He had a great workout this week. He's going to try to become the first horse to win the Santa Anita Derby with only 3 career starts.
There is Indian Charlie. Next to Indian Charlie, well, I guess you can't have a Santa Anita Derby without a horse trained by D. Wayne Lucas. Skeeping, owned by Bob and Beverly Lewis, and today ridden by David Flores.
And Wayne Lucas running a horse in the Santa Anita Derby for the 20th consecutive year. He's got the most wins in this race with 4, but he hasn't won the Santa Anita Derby since 1988.
A Florida-bred horse, Orville and Wilbers. Owner, Thoroughbred Corporation, trained by Wally Delasse and ridden by his son-in-law, Corey Nakatani.
And he's owned by a Saudi Arabian prince, Joe. He's named after a restaurant that's named for the Wright brothers.
And a restaurant that's in nearby Manhattan Beach. How about number 4, breaking from the middle of the field, National Lore, a bit over his head. Owner, trainer, Myung Kwan Cho, the jockey, Renee Douglas.
And this horse is over his head. He's run 14 times the most of any horse in this race. He's still looking for his first career victory.
Well, one of the changes as we got ready for the Santa Anita Derby, the jockey for Classic Cat. Frank Alvarado will ride Classic Cat instead of Eddie Delahousse, who took ill and off his mounts for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and he'll be taking blinkers off today, Joe, in an effort to get him to relax off the speed a little bit. This is the same trainer who won the '83 Kentucky Derby with Sonny's Halo.
Here's Art Tax, the morning line favorite, slipped a bit, current odds 3-1. As you see the career for Art Tax, one of the best.
He is a gorgeous horse. He's the biggest horse in the race. He weighs more than 1,200 pounds.
And from the outside is Real Quiet, ridden by Kent DeSormo, trained again by Bob Baffert and owned by Mike Pegram.
And Mike Pegram is one of Bob Baffert's original owners coming into the thoroughbred game. I love the way this horse is trained this week. He'll make plenty of noise at the finish with a lively pace.
So there you go, a look at the post parade and a look at the field for the 61st running.
Complete the lineup for the Derby. Real Quiet going in. All set for a start in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. Field sent on their way. They all came away perfectly. Orville and Wilbers. 2 from the rail, goes up to lead them early with Indian Charlie at the rail showing good speed as well. And Artax nice and relaxed today. Artax in the black cap now running up third. Alongside of him is Skeeping, and then back to Classic Cat down at the rail. National Laws alongside of him, and Real Quiet trails the field early, but no more than 5 lengths from first to last. Past the 7/8 pole they go, and Corey Nakatani has Orville and Wilbers winging out here. Orville and Wilbers going fast. He's opened up by 3. Indian Charlie quite content to track him second, and Chris McCarron and Artax at third. They now 5 lengths off that leader. Skeeping has to get a tap on the shoulder to keep up at the fast pace. Skeeping in 4th. Here's Real Quiet and Kenta Sormo in the red colours. They racing in 5th, 6 lengths off the leaders. Then Classic Cat and National Law is last, 10 off them. A half-mile to run in the Santa Anita Derby, and Orville and Wilbers continues to lead them by a length. Indian Charlie right there in second, and Indian Charlie now breathing down Orville and Wilbers' neck as they go into the turn. And Artax has a good spot third if he's good enough from there. Chris McCarron starting to ask Artax to respond now. Real Quiet is hard-ridden but not doing enough. A 1/4 mile to go, and Indian Charlie hits the front, and he looks strong. Indian Charlie opening up now to lead by 2. Artax, Real Quiet trying to get involved. Lays Orville and Wilbers can find no more. It's Indian Charlie in 4th, right for the wire. Real Quiet chasing him home. It's a 1-2 finish for Bob Baffert, but it's Indian Charlie and Gary Stevens. Too good in the Santa Anita Derby. Indian Charlie, Real Quiet second.
Baffert, and why not? Indian Charlie, the unofficial winner at 147, tying a stakes record. We didn't know if that would happen here this afternoon with the condition of the track, with rain pounding down here at Santa Anita Park. The 147 tying the stakes record set by Lucky Debonair in 1965. That has been tied by Indian Charlie, and we take you back to the stretch run.
Terrific race here by Indian Charlie. Gary Stevens puts him on the lead as they turn into the stretch. He goes past Orville and Wilbers. Artax is the horse on the outside in the red silks. He just cannot keep up with this horse. I thought Kenta Sormo rode a brilliant race on Real Quiet. He saved ground. He comes out here trying to chase the leaders, but Indian Charlie way too tough. He proved much the best today.
It went about like we mapped it out, Jay. You know, Indian Charlie just kept on running. He was too much horse today. Very clean run race.
Indian Charlie, he was the favorite on the internet poll. He ends up the winner of the 61st running of the Santa Anita Derby. Unofficially, we'll come back with the official results. For the official results here in the 61st running of the Santa Anita Derby, the winner, Indian Charlie, paying $560, $340, and $260, and a time of 147. Placing Real Quiet, paying $360 and $260, showing Artax paying $260, the exacta $920 to $1.7, and the trifecta $791, paying $218.50. Let's take you now down.
To have known he'd be so much a part of the tradition of the Kentucky Derby, and will be forever. One of the great moments in sports. Now the post parade. Number 1 is National Law. This is a horse who has never won a race. He's been to the post 15 times, but he's won over $250,000. Number 2 is a real contender, Real Quiet. Mike Pegram owns him. He's one of the Bob Baffert horses. Kenta Sormo, coming into his own right now, had a great meeting at Santa Anita, won the jockey title. Hallery Hunter is number 3, the Zito Patino horse. They bring Corey Nakatani, one of the top jocks in the West, east to ride him. He won the Bluegrass Stakes with Gary Stevens up. Cholito comes out of Florida. The Britisher Graham Motion is the trainer. Gary Boulanger gets his first Derby mount. This horse won the Flamingo, speed horse. Hanneman Highway is an Irish bred. Kathy Walsh becomes the 8th woman to saddle a Derby starter. David Flores in from California for the ride. Number 6 is Favorite Trick. 9 wins, and then the 3rd in Arkansas. Pat Day has ridden every one of his races. Belmont, the trainer, elected to the Hall of Fame earlier this week. Number 7 is Indian Charlie, the other Baffert entry. He is ridden by Gary Stevens. This horse is green. He's raced 4 times, won all 4, including the Santa Anita Derby. Number 8 is Rock and Roll. The Diet Queen Jenny Craig and Madeline Paulson, the wife of Alan Paulson, decided they wanted a Derby starter. They bought this horse. His total lifetime earnings to this point, $46,000. Parade Ground is number 9. Will Farish is the chairman of Churchill Downs. The owner of the horse, Neil Howard, trains him. Number 10 is Cape Town, the Lucas horse. The Lucas Bailey connection. It doesn't get any better than that. Won the Florida Derby when Lil's Lad was disqualified. Number 11 is Artax. Figures to be near the front. Randy Bradshaw, a Lucas protege, is the trainer. Chris McCarron is the jockey. Number 12 will be Victory Gallop. We talked with Elliot Walden before. The Walden family seeing their first Derby starter. Alex Solis comes east to ride him. He's won 5 of his 7 lifetime starts. Old Trieste with a tremendous workout last week. Another speed horse, figures to go right to the front, trained by Mike Pipey. Robbie Alvarado is the jockey. And then the field horses, basic trainee, John Velasquez is the jockey. Jorge Romero is the trainer. And Robin Wood, the final horse in the field. Early Fires gets his 6th Derby mount, but it's the first time Early Fires has been a jockey in the Kentucky Derby since 1974. What a story. The field of
86 pounds, quarter-mile run to the finish line, and then once more around. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby, and Old Trieste stumbled at the start but recovers quickly. Jalito on the inside takes the early lead, and Favorite Trick is right there, and Rock and Roll up with the early leaders. Old Trieste in the middle of the racetrack has recovered and is right up with the early leaders, passing us for the first time. It's Old Trieste on the outside, and at the rail it's Rock and Roll, and the long shot Rock and Roll with Francisco Torres has it by a head. Old Trieste challenges. Cholito is racing in 3rd. Indian Charlie is 4th. Pat Day with Favorite Trick hugs the rail in 5th, saving some ground around that turn. Real Quiet is next. Then comes Robin Wood. Then on the outside, it's Cape Town, Hanneman Highway. On the outside, that's Artax with the red and black colors. 3 lengths farther back, Basic Trainee. And then that final group of horses, Parade Ground, Hallery Hunter. Along the inside, National Lore. And at the back of the pack, it's Victory Gallop, who's 15th and last. They race down the backstretch after a half mile in 45.75, and now Old Trieste has drawn clear by 3 lengths. Rock and Roll is second. Cholito is moving up, and Indian Charlie with Gary Stevens, a bold move on the outside there. There goes Indian Charlie with the red cap, moving quickly into second position. They're on the turn. It's Old Trieste in front, and here comes Real Quiet, fastest of all with Kent DeSormo. Indian Charlie is between horses. Cape Town behind a wall of horses, and Favorite Trick at the rail is racing 5th. They're at the top of the lane in the Derby, and Real Quiet on the outside gets the lead. Indian Charlie is second, and Cape Town is racing 3rd, but gaining. Victory Gallop from far back is 4th, and moving up, Hallery Hunter is next. Down the stretch they come. Real Quiet leads it. Victory Gallop on the outside with a last desperate move. In the final stride, Real Quiet, Kent DeSormo. Yes, Real Quiet wins it. Bob Baffert, 2 in a row. On the outside, it was Victory Gallop who came from. Bob Baffert gets his second victory.
If you watch right here, this other horse has probably run about 10 to 12 times. This other horse has run 4 times, which is Indian Charlie on the inside and Real Quiet on the outside there. And it just came out there about the 8th hole. And I tell you, if you remember last year, Alex Solis lost a photo in the Kentucky Derby, and I'll be darned if it happened again. That's 2 times.
How smart I thought about when he should have got out to the front and got
DeSormo biding his time early in the race, and that's figured. And Real Quiet, he was very happy with the post position. Baffert said it couldn't have worked any better for this horse. All we wanted was for him to save ground early, so they chose post number 3 for him, a great ground-saving post. And then DeSormo was able to work him out of trouble and cleanly around the first turn and down the backside, and then picked the optimum moment and swung him to the outside and brings him home for the victory.
Just rode a beautiful race. I tell you, I'd give $1 million to be in this spot right now.
Indian Charlie is indeed 3rd as they've looked at the photo. Hallery Hunter winds up 4th, and Kent DeSormo, the happiest guy in the state of Kentucky, aboard Real Quiet and on his way to the winner's circle. So a $17,000 purchase. Kent Sormo.
Stakes. Spartan Cat, a horse with local connections. His owner is Peter Angelis, the owner of the Baltimore Orioles. Rick Wilson in the irons. This horse last ran in the Tessio Stakes, and he was 5th in that race. Black Cash is number 2 from the Frank Stronach stable. Patrick Byrne, outstanding trainer. Shane Sellers in the irons, right now at odds of 7-1. Number 3 is Classic Cat, trained by David Cross. We spoke with him earlier. Robbie Alvarado in the irons. This is the horse who came east, won the Lexington Stakes, and has won more than $300,000. Number 4 would have been Coronado's Quest, scratched yesterday. Number 5 is Cape Town with the connections. William T. Young, Overbrook Farm. Wayne Lucas seeks his 5th Preakness, and we told you about the great day enjoyed so far by Hall of Famer Jerry Bailey. Basic trainee number 6, a trouble trip in Kentucky, and he finished 73 lengths back, was eased at the end, but he's in the race today. Jorge Romero trains Cornelio Velasquez in the saddle. Jorge Romero trains Cornelio Velasquez.
8 minutes to the race. Time for the post parade. Number 1, Hanneman Highway, was scratched this morning. Number 2 is Thomas Joe. Thomas Joe is ridden by Chris McCarron, who won this race last year. 7 wins, 14 lifetime starts. Number 3 is Basic Trainee, who was dead last in the Kentucky Derby and 8th in the Preakness, losing those 2 races by a combined 97 lengths. Number 4 was Cholito, who was entered in midweek. This horse has a lot of speed. Gray Emotion is the trainer. He was 11th in the Kentucky Derby. Number 5 is Parade Ground, trained by Neil Howard, ridden by the Hall of Famer Pat Day, who has won this race twice. He's been off the board only once in 11 career starts. Number 6 is the improving Classic Cat. David Cross, the trainer, won the Kentucky Derby in '83. John Velasquez is aboard. This horse has won more than $400,000. Number 7 is the Alan Jerkins trained Limit Out, who's been to the races only 5 times, but with 4 victories. Most recently, he was 3rd in the Withers. Number 8 is the star of the show, Real Quiet, Baffert and DeSormo, and $5 million at stake today. Number 9 was Hotwell's. He was scratched. Number 10, Raffy's Majesty, trained by Jim Bond, the most lightly raced horse in the field. He's been to the races just 4 times with 2 wins. Jorge Chavez up. Number 11 is the runner-up in the Derby in the Preakness, Victory Gallop, owned by Prestonwood Farm, trained by Elliott Walden. The jockey is Gary Stevens, who won this race with Thunder Gulch in 1995. Then the 2 Wayne Lucas horses, they are uncoupled in the betting. Number 12 is Yarrow Bray. He is ridden by Mike Smith. He finished 1st in the Illinois Derby in his last start. And 13 is Grand Slam with the Hall of Famer Jerry Bailey, who won this race in '91 with Hansel aboard. He's won 4 races.
And the 2 Wayne Lucas horses ready to take their place in the starting gate. Yarrow Bray with Mike Smith. Grand Slam with Jerry Bailey. All set. And they're off in the Belmont Stakes, and Real Quiet gets away cleanly. That's Cholito, as expected, going for the lead on the outside. It's Grand Slam. Then comes Raffy's Majesty, who's closer than usual. Limit Out is taking a position toward the inside. Real Quiet is 5th at this point, and Yarrow Bray is going to get caught wide at the first turn as they round the clubhouse turn. Cholito leads the field by a length and 3/4, and Real Quiet is now in 4th position, about 4 lengths from the lead. As they race to the backstretch, it's Cholito on an uncontested lead, with Raffy's Majesty dropping back and Grand Slam taking the 2nd spot. Grand Slam 2nd, Raffy's Majesty 3rd. Yarrow Bray with the blue and red colors on the outside moving up. Raffy's Majesty is now dropping back into 5th position, and Real Quiet, the Derby and Preakness winner, is 6th, about 4 lengths from the lead. Then comes Thomas Joe with the blue blinkers. Basic Trainee is 3rd last. Victory Gallop. And at the back of the pack, it's Classic Cat. Down the backstretch, and Cholito with Robbie Davis has the lead by a little more than a length. Limit Out on the inside. Grand Slam with Jerry Bailey inching up. Then Yarrow Bray is between horses, and Real Quiet is gaining ground on the outside. He's 3 off the rail. He's 3rd now, and going up as they go to the far turn. It's Cholito in front, Grand Slam 2nd, and Real Quiet trying for the Triple Crown on the outside 3rd. Yarrow Bray is 4th at this point. Limit Out is dropping back. Around the turn, Cholito still has the lead. Now here comes Grand Slam to challenge, and Real Quiet on the outside, 3 of them across the track. Coming to the top of the stretch. On the inside, Cholito trying to hang on. Real Quiet with a burst of speed takes the lead by a head. Grand Slam is right there between horses. Thomas Joe is flying from the back of the pack. He's 4th now with McCarron as they straighten away in the lane of the Belmont. Real Quiet takes command. A roar from the crowd as he bounces away by 3.5 lengths. Thomas Joe is closing. Victory Gallop is now 2nd. Down the stretch they come. Real Quiet in front. Here comes Victory Gallop with Gary Stevens. It's Real Quiet DeSormo, but on the outside, Victory Gallop. Too tight to call. On the inside, was it Real Quiet? Did he win the Triple Crown? On the outside.
with Victory Gallop. And Chauncey, let's take a look at the head-on.
Well, DeSormo and Real Quiet had the lead here. Here come Gary Stevens and Victory Gallop. If there's any objection at all, it is Real Quiet who came out into Victory Gallop. There will be no disqualification.
And they have posted Victory Gallop for the moment. They put up 11 on the board, and that's the reason for the scream at Belmont. Now they put it up again. They put it up, took it, goes. And Gary Stevens, who saw his Triple Crown hope dashed last year by Chris McCarron, is the spoiler today. We'll slow it down. We'll look at it again. Again, you've got a steward's inquiry as well, but the photo has shown that the nose in front belongs to number 11, and that would be Victory Gallop with a tremendous drive in the stretch. So he didn't have enough room in Louisville. He didn't have enough room in Baltimore, but the mile and a half makes the difference. And it's who gets the nose down at the end here, Dave.
Earlier in the program, Gary Stevens told us that he learned something in the Preakness when he rode that horse for the first time. Looks like he was right. The head on again, Real Quiet with the blue nose band on the rail, Victory Gallop on the outside, and at this point, yes, Real Quiet comes out.
So unless something absolutely unseen to anybody else is being looked at by the stewards, the only question here is whether they would take down Real Quiet and place him third or beyond.
Both of the riders
post-parade for this year's Pimlico Special.
And leading the way is Fred Bearclaw. He was well beaten for a claiming price last fall, but improved considerably since, winning several lesser stakes, and he could press the pace. Pat Day rides Precocity. The hard-hitting, well-traveled veteran has ground out nearly $2 million in earning against top company. He was a sharp second to Skip-Away in last year's special. Brushing Up was assigned the starting lightweight of 111 pounds. He's an honest sort who always closes ground late, but he chases a much tougher group this afternoon. Now here's proof that the thoroughbred matures at the age of 5. Freehouse has flourished each year since his Triple Crown season, winning the Pacific Classic and the Santa Anita Handicap, and he's top weight and a heavy favorite today. But can he duplicate that form on the East Coast, conceding 4 to 13 pounds to the likes of a horse like Real Quiet? Last year's Derby winner, he's lost both starts this year, but very narrowly, very narrowly. Longer distance will help. He's a real threat to Freehouse with a 4-pound break in the weights. Gary Stevens is looking for his third Pimlico Special. That's the field, and we'll go back outside to Jim McKay.
All right, Charlesie. Well, everyone's familiar with Real Quiet, of course, who came within inches of winning the Triple Crown last year. But you may not be as familiar with his principal rival today, Freehouse. He's had a lot of tough battles with horses trained by Bob Baffert. Freehouse.
Here comes Freehouse. John Topham, Trudy McCaffrey's pride and joy. And now everyone real quiet because they're in the gate for the Pimlico Special. And they're off in the Pimlico Special. Freehouse came out sharp and goes right to the front. Freehouse on the inside is Fred Bearclaw going to try to run with that one early on, but Freehouse just loping right along. The long shot Fred Bearclaw is right there on the inside, another 4 lengths. And Real Quiet will settle right off that pace, followed by Brushing Up, and Precocity is last. And he's last a long way. Precocity is way back, about 11, 12 lengths off the lead. And there goes the big bear, the tall Fred Bearclaw on the inside, trying to test Freehouse on the front end today. They got the opening quarter in 23 3/5 seconds, so it's Fred Bearclaw with the neck in front. Freehouse on the outside, just nursed right along in second. Real Quiet is coming closer to the pace. Gary Stevens wants him closer. He's urging him on just a little bit, 2.5, 3 lengths off the lead. Then we go back to long shot, Brushing Up, and way back to Precocity. He's completely outkicked back there, some 15 lengths off the lead. The half mile, 47 seconds flat, less than 5/8 of a mile to go. Fred Bearclaw, he's a huge price on the tote board. He's going to try to go for it here. Leads it by 3/4 of a length. Freehouse is second and tracking well still, length and a half more. Real Quiet has the top pair in sights in third. Then it's another 4 4 lengths brushing up, and way back is Precocity. Pat Day urging Precocity. He's going nowhere at this point. Into the far turn, 3/8 of a mile to go. Fred Bearclaw, and here comes Freehouse on the outside, and here comes Real Quiet as well. Freehouse, Real Quiet, looming on the outside. Fred Bearclaw tried to resist him, but is dropping back in third. Precocity still dead last. He's trying to pass, brushing up, and he's way back as Precocity. They turn for home in the Pimlico Special. Freehouse just in front. Real Quiet on the outside. Freehouse and Real Quiet side by side in the stretch at Pimlico. Freehouse on the inside, digs back. Real Quiet on the outside. Real Quiet got a nose in front, but look at Freehouse. He's dead game, and he's coming back for more. Real Quiet, Freehouse. Real Quiet, a nose in front. Freehouse on the inside. Real Quiet has won the Pimlico Special, and he joins the long list.
All right, it turned out just the way we sort of thought. Fred Bearclaw kind of stalking along there with Freehouse, setting it up for Real Quiet to make a run late. As they come through the stretch, Freehouse still has the lead. Chris McCarron working hard, but here comes Real Quiet. Bear in mind the shift in the weights. 124 on Freehouse, 120 on Real Quiet. 4 pounds can take a toll in those last couple of jumps. Real Quiet gets a better distance and turns the tables. Dave?
There's Gary Stevens over there now. Gary, that was quite a stretch drive. What was your feelings through that final quarter mile?
Great horse race. I mean, I had a lot of horse coming in the stretch. Chris and I were just playing kind of a cat and mouse game to the 8th pole. That's where the race started. I didn't know if I was going to be able to put him away until the last 5 or 6 strides, and this colt, he stuck his head in front and won pretty impressive. I'll tell you, Freehouse he's no slouch. We just had a great horse race and good finish.
Well, congratulations on this victory. Are you looking forward to riding in England this summer and fall?
Yes, I am. New challenges, new courses, just a little change in direction, something new, and very excited.
But the same old talent as a horseback rider. Fantastic, Gary. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll be back with the prices.
5. The mass bred Galloping Gale is in the gate. Personal Moon will be the next one to go in. He's the big long shot here, and brushing up, and Rudy Baez, the leading rider, to the outside gate, ready for the start. They're all in line. Here we go. They're off in the 60th mass cap, and they're off to a perfect start here. Let's see who will go for the lead. Running Stag on the inside is out of the gate. How about this one? Running Stag to the front early. Real Quiet's right off of him in second, and Barons, he's going to sit off the pace here in third. Barons is a length and a half off the lead, and he's 3 wide going into that first turn. Personal Moon, the long shot, went a little bit wide as Galloping Gale saves ground, and brushing up is the trailer. So somewhat unexpected here. The British colt is in front. It's Running Stag onto the backstretch with the 2 favorites right behind him. Real Quiet second, Barons to the outside third. The first quarter was in 23 4/5 seconds. A moderate clip up the backstretch. Running Stag and Shane Sellers by 1 length. Real Quiet and Barons are keeping company. They're head and head and right behind Running Stag. Galloping Gale is 5 farther lengths back, and brushing up in Personal Moon are in the back after a 47 2/2 mile. Into the far turn, Running Stag in front. Real Quiet looks very well in second. So does Barons. And these 3, any of them can win it from here around the turn. Now Sellers getting into Running Stag. Barons is 3 wide. Real Quiet's in between horses. Now Stevens really asking run from Real Quiet, and he's not keeping up right now with Running Stag or Barons. 3/4 in 111 flat, and they're into the stretch, and it's Running Stag, and he's still in front. Barons to the outside second. Real Quiet's third. Running Stag and Barons. These 2 will decide it. Real Quiet will be third. The British colt Running Stag. Barons on the outside. Sellers and Chavez. What a mass cap. It's Running Stag. It's Barons. Barons is going to get him. Barons wins the mass cap. He beats a game. Running Stag. Real Coon. It was Barons in the 60th mass cap. Let's go back to Kenny.
Of the easy pace, and now Barons is going to need the whole stretch to get by him, and he's going to get up in the last 50 yards, go by Running Stag, and win it by a neck or a half length and take the Massachusetts handicap. Barons, here he is on the outside in the purple blinkers. That's Running Stag in the orange silks along the rail, and you can see Real Quiet in the blue shadow roll, just not able to keep up at this point. He had to settle for third, and what I'm sure is a disappointing send-off for Gary Stevens before he heads over to Great Britain.
Racing. Bud Royale beats them out. Puerto Madero showing some dash in the early stages. Malik is close handy on the rail. And Real Quiet is the early trailer with the field covered by 4 lengths. Here they come down past the wire with a lap of the Hollywood Park track to negotiate. And Malik is the leader. The tactics being employed early. Malik's in front of Bud Royale by 3/4 of a length. A length and a half to Real Quiet, getting up on the inside of Puerto Madero, who is in close attendance to the pace with the addition of blinkers. He's out 3 wide as they sweep out of the stretch, but he's only 3 lengths from stablemate and leader Malik. Around the first turn in the Gold Cup, and Malik shows out now by 3/4 of a length. Bud Royale in second. He's looming closer again. Just a length and a half to Puerto Madero, and Real Quiet's last of the quartet as they head out back. Just over 5/8 to go, and Malik holds the lead narrowly. The gritty Cal-bred Bud Royale just a neck astern. A length and a half to Puerto Madero, and Real Quiet patiently ridden by Bailey at the tail of the field. Midway down the back stretch, and now Bud Royale puts a bit more pressure on Malik. There's only a nose between them. They get away by almost 3 lengths to Puerto Madero, and Bailey hasn't spent a penny on Real Quiet. He's close up on the inside with half a mile to travel. It's Malik and Bud Royale matching each other's motors into the far turn. A length and a quarter to Puerto Madero. Real Quiet on the inside, biding his time. He's going to need just a touch of luck as Puerto Madero is endeavouring to keep him in a zip fastener pocket. Bud Royale's got a nose lead at the 5/16 from Malik. Puerto Madero's coming after them, staking his claim 3 wide, and Real Quiet has to wait. He's in behind the wall of horses at the top of the stretch. 3/16 to go. Malik and Bud Royale, they're still having a furious struggle. Malik might have a slight lead. Real Quiet's going to try and switch inside, I think, and then followed by Puerto Madero. Bud Royale's got his head in front now from Malik. Real Quiet's getting up along the inside. Bud Royale, Real Quiet flying through on the fence. Real Quiet takes the lead. He's won the roses. Now he's got the gold. Real Quiet beats Bud Puerto Madero, last of the quartet.
From last to first, under a beautifully timed ride by Jerry Bailey, Real Quiet grabs the Hollywood Gold Cup by half a length. Owned by Mike Peckham, trained by Bob Baffert. Real Quiet, the 1998 Kentucky Derby winner and 3-year-old champion. Scored just his 2nd win in 5 starts as a 4-year-old. Real Quiet, $17,000 Keelan Yearling bargain has now earned over $3.2